Paul says the not another penny campaign is coming to fruition, Keith. Hawkeye says it looks to me like Dermot stepped in and told Nicholson to get players in for Martin. Berzuno says surely a guaranteed 8 Champions League games is more appealing than the Championship for Ingles. You may never get the chance to play Real Madrid again. I actually thought that as well. I mean, I get West Ham's it seems weird to me. And finally, John says it's about time that Celtic started to spend decent money on quality players, just as Rodgers wanted. Ross says 8 million on top of 17 we've already spent. The Celtic board are winning the fans back around at this rate. Oh, sorry, and finally as well, Mark says, quite stunned Celtic haven't picked up a left-back or keeper. I've not really heard any rumblings about getting a keeper or a left-back in. I assume they're still going to get it. They need them, obviously.
No, they are. They are in the market for both. They are in the market for both. I mean, I don't think there's the same stress because, I mean, you look for a backup left-back and a backup goalie. Or if they can land somebody who challenge for number one, they would go for it. But in the meantime, it's a backup goalie and a backup left-back. So you can sit and wait and hoover up. Obviously, the transfer window has still got 3 weeks left. They'll pick them up. I don't think without too much fuss. The problem again is that if Kieran Tierney plays on Saturday night, pulls a hammy, they're in deep trouble because they've not got a backup left back. I mean, Adam Montgomery might be the left back, or they probably play Tony Ralston there, and try and get through that way. But that's not ideal for one of the biggest games. It's a cup final. This is a 2-legged cup final for Celtic. I mean, a £40 million cup final. So again, I understand that loans won't be done. You don't do loans until the last week of the window, unless it's a kind of teed up long-term loan for a young guy who's got a pathway plan somewhere. But they could do with having that on board for this tie. They really could. I mean, Kieran Tierney actually, I think they need to stop talking about Kieran Tierney as if he's made of porcelain. I mean, or made of glass, because Kieran Tierney played 40-odd games last season. I know he didn't finish a lot of them. But he played a heck of a lot more games than people thought he would play, and he started this season really well. I mean, I think he's really impressive.
I was just about to say that Kieran Tierney now looks like the Kieran Tierney the Celtic fans remembered for the first time round. He looks so sharp. I thought he was one of the best players on the pitch at Kilmarnock at the weekend. I thought he was sensational, and everything that he did, whether it was his defensive work, his qualities getting forward, his running, his energy levels, everything about him, he looks sharp as anything. And I think that's a major, because I think he was obviously struggling last season to get back to himself and to his top form. And I know that Alistair Johnson's an issue, and I know that there's interest in the Everton thing's not going away. But when you look at Celtic, when Alistair Johnson came back into the team, thought, well, what a difference he's made. I think with Alistair Johnson on one side and Kieran Tierney on the other, it's so strong. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, Celtic fans might not get to see that for too long, given the interest in Alistair Johnson and his situation. But yeah, Kieran Tierney has really impressed me early on this season from what I've seen him. I just think he looks as if he's gone up a level again.
See, just before we wrap up on Celtic, Mick, do you think we'll be seeing a sight like this tomorrow? Can Celtic fans expect maybe the next 24, 48 hours to have these guys in the door?
I think at least one. I think with the scarf above the head. I think Hassan. Yeah, I think once they kind of do the whole rigmarole for Bauer as well, maybe the day after. I don't know. Yeah, possibly. I think certainly the next 40 hours. But they have to get them in tomorrow. The deadline. I say they have to, but it gives them a bit of wiggle room to add another 2 if need be. Which means if they have to move quickly over the weekend to get somebody in, they can do it. So yeah, I would think so. Yeah, I think that you'll see these boys given the full treatment tomorrow, and then heading into the weekend.
Well, we'll see. I mentioned at the start of the show, Keith, that I caught up with Record Sports' Craig Swan. He's over in Macedonia for Hibs' crucial tie against Skindija tomorrow night. Let's have a listen, hear what he was saying. We're joined on Hotline Live now, all the way from sunny Macedonia, by Record Sports' Craig Swan. Swanee, how's things? How is it? How's the weather?
Sunny, sweltering, sticky, sweaty. Yeah, very,
lovely.
Very, very warm. Very pleasant, lovely place, but very, very hot.
You're obviously there ahead of Hibs' Europa Conference League third round qualifying match against Skindija. Hibs obviously won 2-1 in the first leg. Amazing win. They'll be flying after on Ibrox the weekend as well. You'd expect, that to come into this game as well.
Yeah, and it was interesting because obviously the team from the first leg, David Gray made quite a few changes for Ibrox on Sunday. And we've just spoken to the Scandinavia coach there, who was basically, we asked him about, what do you think? Have you managed to analyse everybody? And he was making the point, well, the Scottish, the league season's a marathon, he said, but European games are elimination. He said, so there's two things at play here. He said maybe David Gray was leaving some players out with an eye on this game, or maybe he trusts us, the boys that played at Ibrox on Sunday, to go and do the job on Thursday. But he says he's prepared for it all. But I think that it was a big thing for Hibs to be able to mix the personnel up and still get the result they did at Ibrox. A massive boost for them anyway, regardless of who was playing. But the fact boys like Owen Elding, only came off the bench late in the game and things like that. There's a bit of freshness about them, and they're going to need that. And they're getting players back. Jamie McGrath's just came back at Ibrox. Josh Campbell, the first leg was sort of first minute he played all season after having some problems through pre-season with injuries. So Hibs are getting players back, creative players, good players, and they're going to need them, because this is not going to be easy tomorrow night. Very, very, very difficult. So
that's Scandinavia proved last week that they're going to be tough to get past. But Hibs, and I know I said it a minute ago and I'm stating the obvious, but they'll be flying from that win at Ibrox. If they can get through this tie, it would just give them such a boost. If they can get to the group stage, obviously, it would be amazing. So much focus has been on Hearts, of course, over the last year or so. But it would really be a massive lift for David Gray. And given the fact that it was only a few weeks ago, after the loss in the previous round, that he was under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, football's like that, isn't it? It fluctuates so quickly. The feelings, as you mentioned, Hearts there, you only need to look at the feelings from, sort of the final weeks of last season, and the way it started for Vouter ranking this season until they got the result against Dundee United on Sunday. So yeah, it's fluctuated for Gray, it's flipped, especially after Ibrox on Sunday, as I say, another massive result. Yeah, this is a huge test. I mean, the conditions, it was interesting, as I say, the Scandinavia coach, we asked him about the heat and whether Hibs, does he think that could be a big advantage for them? And he was at pains to say, look, when we're analysing opponents who come from a league like the Scottish, he was very complimentary about the Scottish Premier League, saying that it was of a higher standard than the league here in Macedonia, which you would probably have expected. But he was making a point when we analyse opponents, I think the exact quote was, we don't analyse whether it's going to be hot or raining. We're looking at the quality of Hibs, not what the weather is. So he's kind of banking on the fact that Hibs will be able to handle it, but it's going to be tough going. We've spoken to a few locals. Obviously, people know this stadium. It's where the Macedonian national team play. Scotland will be here. I think this is where they're coming. Pretty sure this is a venue, although I could be wrong. So please don't shoot me if I've got that one wrong. But speaking to the locals, it's roasting hot by day, but it's a kind of bowl effect, and it holds the heat in. So even though it'll cool down, we were out in the city last night, maybe sort of 8:30, 9 o'clock by the time we got here, and it was still sticky, humid, hot, sweaty. So yeah, it's going to be hard going. It's going to be hard going because Scandinavia have got talent, and also with the conditions that Hibs are going to have to cope with, you've got a double-edged sword there to deal with. Very, very tough game. If they get through this, it'll be some effort.
I get him asking you how long is a piece of string, Sonny, but do you think David Gray will stick with the team that won at Ibrox? Will they revert back? Is there any idea what we'll do?
I think it'll be a mix. Like for instance, Owen Elding was